What's good, everybody, and welcome back to another deep dive into the NBA's most controversial topics.
Porzingis, Shams is absolutely right. It's pretty astounding when you look back a year ago where the Boston Celtics were to where they are now here, Perk.
Now, I know what you're thinking. Oh, great, another Celtics hate video. But hear me out, because today we're not just throwing around hot takes. We're dissecting exactly why the Boston Celtics have become the most insufferable franchise in professional sports. And trust me, the evidence is overwhelming. You see, there's a difference between being hated because you're good and being hated because you're, well, the Celtics. The Lakers were hated during their Showtime era, but they were also respected. The Warriors dynasty, people got tired of them, sure, but they revolutionized basketball. The Celtics, they managed to become the most obnoxious team in NBA history.
To the Boston Celtics, NBA champions once again, beating the Dallas Mavericks to win a record 18th title.
Buckle up, because we're about to break down exactly why everyone outside of Boston can't stand this franchise. From their delusional fan base to their overrated players to their boring algorithmic style of play. Let's start with the obvious culprit here, the fan base. Now, I've seen a few toxic fan bases in my time, but Boston Celtics fans are in a league of their own. These people act like they personally won those championships. And here's the kicker. Most of those titles came when the league had 8 teams and they were playing against plumbers and mailmen. You want to talk about living in the past? Celtics fans will tell you about Bill Russell's 11 championships like they happened yesterday. Newsflash, that was 60 years ago, when the NBA was basically a recreational league. But somehow, this translates to modern-day superiority in their minds. And don't even get me started on their behavior toward opposing players. LeBron James, arguably the greatest player of all time, has openly called Boston fans racist. Kyrie Irving gets water bottles thrown at him. DeMarcus Cousins gets racial slurs hurled at him. This isn't isolated incidents, folks. This is a pattern.
Talk about the Celtics because they banned a fan for 2 years for allegedly using the N-word in the direction of DeMarcus Cousins back in January.
Multiple players have spoken out about the toxic environment in Boston, and yet somehow Celtics fans play the victim card every single time. But here's what really gets me, the arrogance. These fans genuinely believe Boston is the sports capital of the world. They'll tell you about their winning culture while conveniently forgetting that their basketball team has won 2 championships in the last 41 years. But let's talk about the 2008 Boston Celtics, the most overrated title team in modern NBA history. Now I'll give credit where it's due. Danny Ainge pulled off maybe the greatest heist in NBA history that offseason. He traded basically a bag of peanuts for Kevin Garnett and Ray Allen, creating the first modern super team. But here's where it gets ridiculous. This team acts like they were some kind of dynasty. They won 1 championship, people. 1. Yet every year we have to hear about it like they won 4 straight. Kevin Garnett out here talking about, we broke LeBron. Brother, you beat a 23-year-old LeBron whose second best teammate was Mo Williams. Congratulations, I guess. And let's talk about that championship run, because it was anything but dominant. This team took 26 games to win the title. That's an NBA record that still stands today. They got taken to 7 games by a 38-win Atlanta Hawks team in the first round. The Hawks, with Josh Smith and Joe Johnson, that's like getting taken to 7 by the current Portland Trail Blazers. Then they struggled against a Cleveland team that was literally just LeBron and 4 guys they picked up at the local YMCA. But somehow, this translates to breaking LeBron in their minds. No, you didn't break LeBron. You beat a kid who had 0 help, and he still took you to 7 games. The funniest part? Paul Pierce's wheelchair incident. This man literally soiled himself on national television, got wheeled off like he was dying, then came back 2 minutes later like nothing. And they still try to sell this as some heroic injury comeback. Brother, we all know what really happened in that wheelchair. Here's what really gets me about this franchise. They've convinced themselves they're a dynasty based on 1 championship. 1! The 2004 Pistons won 1 title, and you don't see them having reunions every year. The 2011 Mavericks don't act like they're basketball royalty, but the 2008 Celtics, they had a reunion in 2017, another one in 2019, and a mini reunion in 2022. Kendrick Perkins is still tweeting about that team like they won 4 straight. Paul Pierce is still making outrageous claims about being better than Dwayne Wade. The delusion is off the charts. Brian Scalabrine called them the best defensive team of all time. The best defensive team of all time. They weren't even the best defensive team of their own era. But somehow they're the greatest ever? And the endless "what if Kendrick Perkins was healthy" takes after they lost in 2010. Really? You're gonna put an asterisk on the Lakers championship because your fifth best player got hurt? That's the level of entitlement we're dealing with here. Now let's talk about the current iteration of this franchise, because somehow they've managed to become even more insufferable. Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown, two genuinely talented players who have become the poster children for everything wrong with modern NBA stardom. Tatum is the definition of manufactured greatness. Remember when he texted Kobe's old number before Game 7, then immediately leaked it to social media? That's not honoring Kobe, that's using a dead legend for clout. And Jaylen Brown? Don't get me started on this dude. Remember when he said he'd win 5 or 6 championships by the time he's 28? The audacity. This man really thought he was going to win a championship every single year. That's not confidence, that's delusion. And now he's out here complaining about not making the Olympics while shooting 28% from 3 to start the season. The can't go left memes exist for a reason, people. This man signed a $300 million contract and still can't dribble with his offhand. But somehow, he's the 6th highest paid player in the league. Make it make sense. But even if you can tolerate the fans and the players, you still have to watch this team play basketball. And that's where things get really painful. The Boston Celtics have turned basketball into a math equation, and it's absolutely soul-crushing to watch. Last season, they led the league with 42 three-point attempts per game. This year, they're up to 50. That's more than half their shots coming from beyond the arc. For context, the next closest team attempts 43 threes per game. Even the Warriors, the team that revolutionized three-point shooting, only attempt 42. But here's the difference. When Steph Curry shoots a three, it's art. He's pulling up from the logo, sprinting around screens, turning around before the ball goes in. With Boston, it's drive, kick, swing, shoot, drive, kick, swing, shoot, drive, kick, swing, shoot. It's like watching a computer algorithm play basketball. Their 2024 championship run was the most boring title run in recent memory. They went 4-1, 4-1, 4-0, 4-1 through the playoffs, methodically crushing their competition while putting everyone to sleep. The 2024 finals were one of the least watched finals in the last 20 years, and it's not hard to see why. This team plays the right way. Ball movement, teamwork, hustle, all the things basketball purists claim to love. But when you remove the chaos, the drama, the individual brilliance, you're left with basketball that feels mechanical and soulless. Look, I'll be the first to admit that the Boston Celtics are a good basketball team. They won 66 games, they won a championship, and they're built for sustained success. But being good at basketball doesn't make you immune from criticism, and it certainly doesn't excuse the insufferable behavior we've witnessed from this organization top to bottom. The fans are toxic, the players are inauthentic, and the style of play is putting people to sleep. They've managed to become the most hated, successful team in recent memory, and that's actually an impressive feat in its own right. Can they change this narrative? Maybe. If they win multiple championships, and Tatum develops some actual personality instead of copying everyone else, the hate might fade. Greatness has a way of silencing critics. But until then, they'll remain what they are, the most hated franchise in professional sports. What do you think? Did I miss any reasons why everyone hates the Celtics? Let me know in the comments below. And don't forget to subscribe to Hoop Heroes for more NBA deep dives. See you next time.